Hi, my name is Aya. You're watching Aya Reads, and today is November 12th, which means the Goodreads Choice Awards have just been announced. So I'm gonna react to them. Basically, I'm gonna focus on the romance category, and I wanna also peek at the Romantasy category. And I did a predictions video a month ago, so I'll leave that linked for you, but I also wanna check with you and see how many of my predictions were correct. Yeah, so that's basically what's gonna happen. So I'm gonna do a screen recording, and this time I remembered that it's easier to do it on my phone, so let's do that. Let's open Goodreads, and let's do a screen recording. Okay, so let's see, the romance category, romance. Okay, romance. I already saw a couple that, oh, the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. See, I don't know when, I think a couple days ago, I was like, wait a minute, those books have been pretty popular, yet I didn't mention them at all because this doesn't have a lot of ratings. Let me actually check. So I also have my laptop here. That's where I'll check the ratings. Okay, so already the first two I did not predict. Swift and Saddled, at the end of my predictions video, I did say that this had a very good chance because it had like over 70,000 ratings. Yeah, okay, so the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore has a little bit less than 50,000, but it makes sense. This has been pretty hyped. So I am excited about it, although I haven't heard the best things about it, but we'll see. Swift and Saddled, like I said, this I could have easily predicted, but at the end of the day, I just chose other books over this one, I guess. But this does not surprise me at all, and I'm actually very excited about it. I think I own it already, which is good. Moving on to the rom-commers. This one I did predict. This does not surprise me at all. Catherine Center has been a Goodreads Choice nominee for years now, so makes sense. Lies and Weddings by Kevin Kwan. Oh, he wrote the Crazy Rich Asians. This was not on my radar at all. But it's good. It's a diverse author, and it's also a man, which is good for the romance category. So far, out of the four, three I did not predict, and I was very sure of my predictions. Moving on to Daydream, does not surprise me. I'm very excited to read this one. The Pairing, yeah, this one, at the end of the day, I didn't choose this one because I figured it had so few ratings, but then I told you guys, okay, this one I could have been wrong about because Casey McQuiston was a Goodreads winner before, and obviously she's a diverse author, so I am happy to see it here. Leather and Lark, yes. Butcher and Blackbird was very, very popular last year. I actually read it last month because I knew Leather and Lark was going to make it in the Goodreads Choice Awards. So yeah, does not surprise me. How to End a Love Story is pretty hyped. I believe it had been a Book of the Month choice and a Reese Witherspoon pick. It's also diverse. So far, Goodreads is doing pretty well with the diversity, I do have to say. Better than last year, so that is good. Okay, The Love of My Afterlife. I've never heard of this book. Never heard of it at all. What is this book? The Love of My Afterlife. Okay, so it does have 30,000 ratings. And it's a magical realism. Okay, this actually sounds good. A recently deceased woman meets the one in the afterlife waiting room, scoring a second chance at life and love, if she can find him on Earth before 10 days are up. This is being compared to Ashley Poston. So, yeah, but like I said, I thought I was doing well with my romance prediction, like with my new romance releases. When did this come out? July 2nd. Yeah, no, never heard of this at all. Moving on. Just for the Summer, not a surprise at all. Abby Jimenez, very popular and has been a Goodreads Choice staple. King of Sloth, once again, does not surprise me at all. Anna Huang has been a Goodreads Choice nominee for a while now. You know, now that I'm seeing this, hopefully Play Along will be on here, otherwise I'm gonna be very sad. This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. This makes me happy because apparently Kennedy Ryan was never a Goodreads Choice nominee, which is very surprising to me. And once again, very like a diverse author, so obviously I support that. The Paradise Problem, yes. Christina Lauren, once again, a Goodreads Choice staple. And Paradise Problem has been very well read this year. Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood, once again, not a surprise. Ali shows up in a lot of these lists. I don't know if Bride is gonna be a Goodreads Choice nominee, but we'll see. This summer will be different. Nobody's surprised about this at all. Yeah, Carly Fortune, even though her last book actually didn't make it in the top 10, this book is more popular, and her first book made it pretty far in the Goodreads Choice Awards. Funny story, who's surprised? This, you're looking at the winner right here. Wild Love by Elsie Silver, yes. Elsie Silver is a very, very popular author. This one started off as traditionally published. I'm very happy to see it here, as well as Play Along. Yes, 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 yes. I have not read this book yet, which I know. Who am I? So I'm very excited to read this one for the Goodreads Choice Awards. Wild, Love Song for Ricky Wilde. This one was in the hit book so far, so I did think it was gonna, like, it was a big contender. And once again, diverse, so I'm very happy about that. Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I was debating whether or not both of them would be nominees, but I guess they are, which is technically not that good for Ali because her vote will be split. Okay, so that was it. Ooh, I am missing a couple big ones, actually. Okay, so first of all, I am happy with the diversity because Kevin Kwan, Casey McQuiston, Yulin Kwong, I think Abby Jimenez is diverse, I'm not sure though, Anna Huang, Kennedy Ryan, and Tia Williams. So that is actually very good, like especially comparing it to last year. They did pretty well, in my opinion. Let's look at the Romantasy category. Romantasy, let me see. So I'm not as familiar with Romantasy, even though I do love to read it as like the regular romance. So The Honey Witch makes sense. I've been seeing this book around and I have been interested in it. A Fate Inked in Blood, I've read and I did like it. Phantasma, I have heard good things about it, although I wasn't sure if this was young adult, but apparently it is adult. Blood of Hercules, never heard of this one. Promise of Peridot, makes sense. What is the first book in this series? A Dawn of Onyx. Okay, yeah, that one I have heard a lot of things about. Okay, so the 9th book in the Zodiac Academy makes sense, although that makes the Romantasy category so difficult to read because you have to really be on top of your new releases and series. Otherwise, I mean, you cannot start a 9th book in a fantasy series. That's just impossible. The Spell Shop, once again, I heard a lot of things about it. I just say I get that one and The Honey Witch confused sometimes. The Veiled Kingdom, yes, I read this one. I really love it. So glad to see it on here. I forgot this one was published this year as well. The Games Gods Play. Once again, this feels young adult, but apparently it's adult. A Dark and Drowning Tide. Once again, this feels young adult, but apparently it's adult. House of Flame and Shadow, nobody's surprised. Of course, I read this one. Fate of the Sun King, which I believe the first book is something Sun Queen. Trial of the Sun Queen, okay. Makes sense, once again. Gold, which is the next book in the Plated Prisoner series, the first book being Guild. Once again, nobody's surprised, but again, it's the 5th book in a series. Feybound, this book has been pretty popular. Once again, I don't remember this being published this year. In my head, it was published last year. Born of Blood and Ash, once again, makes sense. Jennifer L. Armentrout is usually on this list. Apprentice to the Villain, yes. Assistant to the Villain, I believe made it pretty far in the Goodreads Choice Awards last year. I'm waiting for one particular book. Where is it? When the Moon Hatched. Anyway, A Touch of Chaos. Are they still publishing these books? Which is the Scarlet St. Clair series. I read the first book, was not my favorite. A Crown This Cold and Heavy. I've never heard of this book. Quicksilver, yes, this has been pretty popular. I've been meaning to read it for a while now. When the Moon Hatched, of course. This one I've been waiting for. I do think Sarah J. Maas will win this category, but maybe this one will be a good contender. So yeah, most of them I'm not that surprised by, honestly. As much as a part of me wants to read books from this category as well, I think that is just impossible. So let me look at my predictions. Like I said, we'll see if, because my goal was to have 15 correct. I know already probably I did not accomplish that, but let me see. Let's do a screen recording right here. So this was my predictions, and I'm gonna use a check mark for every book that I got correct. So Let's see, funny story, yes. Just for the summer, yes. This summer will be different, I got correct. The Paradise Problem, I got correct. Wild Love, oops. I predicted right. Leather and Lark, right? Yes. Play Along, which I'm very happy about. King of Sloth. Actually, I think, oh no, my top 10 was almost spot on. I'm surprised Love Unwritten is not on here, honestly, because Lauren Asher like was a staple in the last couple of years. So but anyway, the rom-commers I got correct. So 9 out of 10 so far, which is good. Bride, I was right about. Same with Not in Love. And This Could Be Us. And A Love Song for Ricky Wilde. Okay, so the rule book surprises me because this. Okay, let me actually see before I talk crap here. The rule book. Yeah, it has almost 70,000 ratings. It was in the Goodreads hit book so far, so it honestly surprises me that it's not in the it's not a nominee. But anyway, moving on. Same with Fangirl Down. Tessa Bailey has been a Goodreads Choice nominee for years now, so maybe they want to switch things up and don't want to put like the same authors over and over again. But I do feel like Fangirl Down has been pretty popular. Anyway, it doesn't matter. How to End a Love Story, yes, this one I was correct about. Once again, the Dixon Rule, I'm surprised that Elle Kennedy didn't make it on here because Elle Kennedy, this series is pretty popular. And Elle Kennedy hasn't been a Goodreads Choice nominee for a while, but the Off-Campus series, which this series is a spin-off for, back when you could write in your nominees, that series was always nominated. So anyway, Daydream I was correct about. So, whoa. I got exactly 15 correct, right? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, right? Yeah, 15. Oh no, 16. No. Huh? I cannot count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Exactly 15, like I said. Okay, so I honestly, pat on my back, I did pretty well. Although I do have to say, some of the nominees weren't even on my radar, so that's surprising for me. So, but yeah, still 15 is correct. So Lies and Weddings, I did not predict correctly. Same for the pairing, although I do have to say with the pairing, okay, let me actually tell you about the books that weren't on my radar for the Goodreads Choice Awards at all, which were Lies and Weddings, The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, and The Love of My Afterlife. Those three, especially when I did my predictions video, I did not think of these books at all. I do have to say with The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, like I said, a couple days ago, I was like, maybe that one is a contender. And for the ones that I was debating about, but ultimately didn't end up picking, were Swift and Saddled and The Pairing. But yeah, I do have to say overall for the romance category, I am pretty pleased with, like I said, the diversity. I am planning on reading the top 20 for the Goodreads Choice Awards. Some of them I have already read. So let me actually count how many I still need to read. 10 exactly. So I've already read 10 and I still need to read 10. So that is going to be a giant video because I will be pulling clips from other videos of the 10 I already read. And I'm going to be reading the 10 that I haven't read yet. So very excited about that. And the plan is, I don't know if I can manage that, but the plan is to upload that video on November 27th, which means I have 2 weeks plus a day, so 15 days to read 10 books. So we'll see. And I also want to read 2 fantasy romances, new releases. So we'll see. To be fair, I don't have a whole lot planned the next couple weeks. And especially this week, I took the whole week off. So, the whole week minus 1 day where I work from home off. So I do have time to read. So yes, let's actually take a peek at some of the other categories now. We'll see if I leave it in my video, if it's not too long. Let's see. Fiction. I don't read a whole lot of like literary fiction. Yeah, so obviously Sally Rooney makes sense. Yeah, I don't. Oh, Erin Hildebrand makes sense. Yeah, I don't know any. Oh, Leanne Moriarty makes sense. Although sometimes she gets put in the thriller or mystery category. Yeah, this I don't really. This is not really my genre. Moving on to the historical fiction. Yeah, the women. Obviously, I do think this one will win because it's the most popular, one of the most popular book releases this year. Yeah, Sylvia Moreno Garcia makes sense. The Briar Club I've seen around a lot. Yeah. Okay, mystery thriller. For some reason, even though I don't read a whole lot of mystery thriller, some of my favorite booktubers read a lot. So this is a category I should be pretty familiar with. So How to Solve Your Own Murder makes sense. Home is Where the Bodies Are. The Boyfriend makes sense. Actually, let's count how many Freedom McFadden's there are. So that was the first one. We Solve Murders by Richard Osman makes sense. The Teacher is the second Frida McFadden. The Heiress makes sense. Laura Dave makes sense because she won like a couple years ago. First Lie Wins makes sense because this is pretty popular new release. The next one in the Maid series makes sense. Riley Sager makes sense. The God of the Woods I have seen around, obviously. Midnight Feast makes sense. Okay, so only two Frida McFadden. So we'll see, I guess. Romance we already checked, of course. Okay, fantasy. Warm Hands of Ghosts. Yeah, see, once again, the fantasy. Oh, Emily Wild's Map of the Otherlands, Empire of the Damned, The Familiar makes sense. Oh, Somewhere Beyond the Sea makes sense. Tainted Cup, yeah. I'd have to say, once again, I really want, next year I want to kind of branch out a little bit. Obviously, I am primarily a romance channel, but I do miss reading like a fantasy book, like a long one that focuses a little bit less on the romance. So sci-fi is definitely not really my genre. Anibot, I've heard of. Oh, Family Experiment. Oh, it's funny. Obviously, John Mars is more sci-fi than thriller. Ministry of Time, I have seen a lot. Okay, horror. Once again, I don't read horror at all, but I do watch a lot of people that read horror. What Feast at Night makes sense. Diavola makes sense. We Used to Live Here, I've heard a lot about. Rachel Harrison makes sense. Stephen Graham Jones makes sense. Murder Road makes sense. Yeah, The Eyes Are the Best Part is one of my, like, I get shivers when I see that cover. Okay, best debut novel. Okay, let me see if there's a romance in here. Oh, How to End a Love Story. Okay. And The Truth According to Ember. This one I haven't read yet, but this could have also been a good contender. Yeah, it doesn't even, like, it has less than 3,000 rating, which is sad because this is a indigenous romance. So if I have time, I will definitely read this one. And if not, I'll read it. I'm planning on doing a top 10 diverse romances at the beginning of next year, so I'll definitely read this book for that. Oh, they have a favorite audiobook category. That is fun. Okay, so just for the summer, Somewhere Beyond the Sea, The Women, We Solve Murders, First Lie Wins, Funny Story. Okay, so I cannot really listen to audiobooks. I find that I cannot really concentrate on them unless I'm tandem reading, which in that case, I guess I prefer my own voice over other people's, unless the audiobook is special in some way. Like there's a whole cast and there's a whole production. I am trying to be more of an audiobook girly. So far, I haven't managed, but I am glad that there's an audiobook category because obviously a lot of people love listening to audiobooks. And it's obviously, cannot believe I have to say this, an obviously very valid form of reading. Okay, young adult fantasy, this used to be my genre. Now I don't really know a lot of them. Okay, Darkness Within Us, I have heard about. Obviously Skyward series. Holly Black makes sense. Tara Maffey makes sense. Adeline Grace, Rebecca Ross. I have read Ruthless Vows, so maybe I'll vote for that one. Where the Dark Stands Still is one of my favorite covers this year. Okay, so favorite young adult fiction. Alice Oseman makes sense. Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Oh, Kay Ankrum. I didn't know she... Oh, I have seen this one, actually. Lynn Painter makes sense. Holly Jackson makes sense. Tilly Cole. So this one I was debating whether or not they were going to put it in the romance category or the young adult category. And I was leaning towards the young adult category, and I was correct. If only I had told her, which... the first book was If Only He Had Been With Me, and that was pretty popular. Oh, two Lynn Painters. Makes sense. Nonfiction. Oh, maybe... No. Okay, so Ta-Nehisi Coates. I really want to read that book, The Message. That's basically the only one I want to read. Favorite memoir. I believe there's only one memoir I really want to read. I don't know if it's on here. No. I wanted to read the Bethany Joy Lenz one, but it's not on here. Okay, and the other ones I don't care about, right? History, biography. Okay, so they removed a couple categories. They removed all the comedy ones. Okay, so they removed humor. Okay, that's the only one they removed. So they removed humor and put in audiobook, which I think is a good choice because humor you can put in any of the other nonfiction categories. So yes, let's look at the romance category. I am pretty pleased with it, honestly. Most of them make sense for what I thought were going to be on there, and the surprises I had were good surprises, honestly. They were more leaning towards the diverse aspect, so I am glad, and I'm very much looking forward to reading all of these books. So definitely let me know in the comments below what you thought of the Goodreads Choice nominees. Is there a book you're really missing in the nominees? Obviously, I get a lot of us read indie books, but there's no way in hell they're putting that on here. So of the books you thought were going to be nominated, are you really missing a big one? And definitely look out for my Goodreads Choice video because that is a very big video. I obviously love making it, otherwise I wouldn't, but this time I'm reading the top 20, so that is a big feat. So I really hope you watch that once it comes out. And even though I already spoiled it, if you want to know more of my thought process of the books I chose and why I chose them for my predictions, I'll have that linked for you, so definitely check that out. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know by leaving a like if you did. And if you're down there, leave me a prize emoji. And thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.